So I'm gonna pick an app on YouTube. Like someone create an application. They call that a to-do app. So it's a simple to-do list, and the app is beautiful. The guy did a great job there, and I checked the profile. He's a student. It's studying computer science, and I felt like, oh, what if I just refactor that app and then have him live also with me, and I can explaining him a few things here and there. Um, I reached out to him, but didn't really have any feedback there. But that's okay. That can help other people as well. So let's do that for about 30 minutes. I think in 30 minutes I can actually quickly refactor the app and put it to the place where it is actually easy to maintain over time, right? So this is the app. So what we gotta do here, this is the GitHub repo. You can go there. It has a YouTube channel. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. Subscribe to this one as well. Don't do that. Don't forget about that. And yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and fork it. So we go with the fork, and I'm gonna put it in the refactoring.coach, and then here same name. Yeah, we're just gonna call that, yeah, let's leave it like just like that. We just fork it. There's one branch, and from there we're going to clone it. So we go to item. So here what I'm gonna do is just clone it and call it to-do app. Okay, we're gonna open that to-do app, right? So this is what we have, and what I'm going to do is move these two things next to each other so we can see basically live what is happening there. So before I even start anything, what I'm going to do now is basically let me make it here. So what I'm going to do is, yeah, just check first package JSON. Yeah, let's see what we have as dependencies. It's a package log, so I'm just gonna do npm install. Then hopefully everything could be installed there. So what I see there, it's actually a React application. Let's open the package JSON. It's React version 18. Yeah, it's barebone React, and nothing really special in there. And if we look at the code structure, we have just a component, one component, the CSS that goes with it, and then we have the app right there. So let's zoom out a little bit so we can see a bit of code like that. That's a lot of code just in the component. So let me make sure that this is pretty clear what is happening right there. So yeah, I'm not gonna go ahead and transform that into TypeScript and all of that. It's not needed, right? There is no test, so we're not gonna go into this thing. What I'm gonna do is just I'm going to do something that I believe could be really useful for anyone watching. The first thing is apply things like pre-tier, ESLint to make sure that our code is easily maintainable, and we can write code in a beautiful code, right? That's already one thing we could do. Let me check for something. Oh, the thing is are installed. So what I'm gonna do here is just npm start, and while it's starting, we're going to go here and then open it localhost 3000. So yeah, so we have already one first error there, but yeah, I just did npm start and the app didn't start right away. So I just want to do a few things. I was explaining that for people watching, I'm gonna do something about this code that is it's about refactoring. It's something that I do on this channel, is to make sure that I explain you first what I see, and then we gotta go ahead and implement that. But it's a bummer that the app doesn't run right away, but I see the error right away, because if it says app.js here, and then it's looking for something like source app. So if we go here, that thing is called app, the file is called app.js. And then if I go to the index, which should be the starting point, it's actually trying to import app from app lowercase a instead of the capital A. And then right here we should then be able to see that, oh, the app is running really good. And now I can say hello world, enter. Oh, nice. Look, this app looks really beautiful. I can remove that. And yeah, the app looks good, right? Love it. So now, since it's a to-do app, what we're going to do is actually list all the tasks that we're gonna be doing, and then as we do so, we just remove them one after the other. So there's, if you hear the ambulance, everything is all right in the building here. It's just crossing out there on the street. So we good? Let's do this. So now what I have is, I like that app. It looks beautiful, right? Don't you think? Now let's do this. We have this app, which is kind of the main and only component in there. You can think of it as a page. It has a lot of things going on here. A way to set the to-do, like the current to-do, to get all the to-dos. A way to add, get all to-dos, toggle, meaning that if you go here and then you just say hello world, you just add it, you can toggle, and below there is a delete, which is obviously this one. And then you have use effect that actually fetch the to-dos. It writes the to-dos in a local storage. So it means that if we go here, let's say hello world again, and then we check the local storage, we should have something that looks pretty much like, let me just make a bit of space here, go to application, where is application? Right there. And then I can check here, and I see indeed that there are some to-dos in there. So let me just check that. We can remove a few things. Yeah, we see that indeed there let me remove all of this. Delete, because it's not needed. Delete, or just do that, and then go back in here and add something, and I should be able to see it over here. Yeah, really good, right? So that basically it uses the local storage for it. Man, this app is beautiful. I like it a lot. Like the colors, the way things are being put together is really simple. Now, wow, I'm gonna show you something. The first thing we're going to do here is to separate the logic, all that logic from the component, meaning that we're just gonna first get rid of all of this and just have that exported somewhere else and make sure that that thing stays really isolated. It's just a component. It doesn't, the thing the component needs, we're gonna send that through whatever we're gonna put right there. So that's already one thing. So let me put it back so you get to see the thing. So here is a separate component, separate component and state. All right, so that's already one thing. Just gonna make it bigger because we can. So that's already one thing. Then the other thing that I see there are, so let's see, we have some dead code, right? So remove dead code, but it's pretty easy. We're gonna use something like ESLint plus we're gonna use ESLint for that. So let me remove that and say remove dead code. That is important, right? You don't want to have unnecessary code in your app and then push that, right? ESLint. Now the other one is we're going to have one of the things that I don't like about people using directly the way they save fetch data directly in the component. It makes it difficult to refactor it. It makes it difficult to say, okay, now I was using local storage, and I'm gonna go now toward let's say we're gonna save that into a Supabase or Firebase and things like that. Then you start refactoring things even at a component level, but the component should be agnostic to this, right? So I have this layer that I call the service layer, and what we're gonna do here is to move local storage to the service layer, right? I will explain that. And then what else do we have that we could so there is this idea of, when I see here, I see right away that we go component, and then right here we do all of that. So you can shorten that that way of writing the thing exactly the way it's done right here, right? So I call that the index, use the index shortcut, for import. All right, that's already another thing. Let's see. So dead code, like console log, it's part of dead code. We're gonna move this away, and then yeah, I think this should be it. It's a really simple app, so I can really move faster in this, like refactoring the component a little bit so that it does this should be like one folder. If you want to have the CSS linked to it, it should be one folder. So refactor the list item, refactor list items into one folder, right? So that is already another thing, and that's it. Let's already start with that. We have about 20 minutes. I'm gonna go really fast here, so brace yourself. A few more things will come as I go with it, but just stay with me there. So first thing, I want to separate that component and state right there. Okay, so how do we do that? The first way I do that often is to look at the template and be like, okay, what is in that template? Let me make it way smaller here. So what is that in that template that is really needed? Okay, we have things called like add to do here, but I also see the same add to do being called right there. Which one is it, right? This one doesn't look like a button, and then we have a way to pass the to-do, set the current to-do. That you can do with the use ref. So technically you don't need a set to-do right there, because you can always have the latest value attached to the use ref that you put into that input right there. And then right below here, what do we have? We have the list of to-dos. So when they're there, when we have to-dos, we show them in that list, and that list needs a way to like delete to-dos, and then a way to toggle to-dos, right? So that's two functions that we're gonna be passing there. That's good. And then we have if there is no to-do, we're just going to show this. Cool, love it. Now 18 minutes left to try to refactor that in a proper way. So I see what I need. So what I'm going to do is, okay, let's remove the things that are not needed there. I'm gonna quickly do something that I said before, is make sure that I use Prettier to clean up stuff. So you see, like right away, my code will be already much cleaner here. What just happened? It seems like all my to-dos are gone. Aren't they supposed to be on the local storage? Okay, they're there. Okay, okay, they're right there. But the code is already a bit cleaner. So that's one thing. And the other thing I'm gonna do here is to do npx ESLint. I'm just gonna do npx. Okay, just gonna do ESLint like this. I think it will guide me toward doing it the right way. Yes. So you do this, then go here, that. So npm is gonna install that. So we're using we're gonna use it to find syntax and problems issue using import export JavaScript. It's a React project. Does your project use TypeScript? Unfortunately, no. And is it a browser? Yes. And let's use JSON for it, and let's install everything. We use npm, and that there is gonna provide us, if you look at it, it's going to provide us a ESLint.json. So we can open it, ESLint.json, and we see indeed that all our configuration is here. You can actually change that or add rules and so on and so forth, right? So once I have that and I go back to app, you're gonna see now that app is in red. And you see right below, it's in red because it's gonna start telling you that, hey, avoid using I avoid using a certain syntax right away. So, and you can have some quick fix, like that's not really a quick fix that I want. So what's the issue with this one? React must be in the scope when you're using GSX. Yeah, so that it's talking about the fact that we import React from here. Right, so that's gonna fix it, and then there is no to-dos, and it's gonna ask you to do the escape right there, which is not bad at all. No, I don't want to do that. What I want to do is actually to fix it properly. Oh, it's difficult to catch. Disable, no. Okay, that's not really needed right there. Keep moving. I remove already the console log and so on and so forth. Always commit. So here I'm just gonna go here and say fix. I'm gonna call that as a fix. Format code. We just format code right there, right? So put that like this, and now I'm just going to quickly commit that. Right. Formatted format code and install ESLint, right? So that's already one part. Now let me move the thing outside of the where was that? So move local storage refactor, no, remove that code and ESLint. We're gonna just count this one as done. Now let me do that separation right there. So the way I think about it is, I don't want to see anything here really. Let's go all the way here and a little bit further, right? I don't want to see anything right there. What I want to see there is basically a kind of hook, which I'm gonna call use to dos. And what is that hook going to do? Is going to return me the things that I need to get the job done, right? So what are basically these things, right? So let me put it right there. So the thing I'm going to need are just 4. I'm just counting them here. Add to do, set to do. Do I need a set to do? I don't need a set to do. So that we said we're gonna need an add to do. We don't need a set to do. This is just to track which to do is being added, and so that's not needed. Add to do is in repetition here, so I think something was not going well, so probably this one can move out of the way. We have all to dos, and then right below we're going to have, let me check, delete and toggle. That's it. So technically I only need add to do, all the to dos, delete, and toggle. That's basically what I need here. So that's always the way I started. I'm just going to quickly refactor, give them names, and then even if I don't have the thing, I will just go ahead and add them in the once I write the function, and then add to do. So that is another one. We're gonna call that one toggle to dos, like this, and then the last one is a delete to do. Right, so these are the 4 operations. So 3 operation: add, toggle, and delete, and then the all to dos is kind of the get part, right? But the get's gonna happen in the hook, right? So now I can go back here. So remove this. We're going to open this one. I'm going to create a folder in here that I call hooks. Like this, and then inside here I'm gonna create a use to do's hooks, right, the JS, and then I can put all of these things right there. Let's move it here, export function use to do's, right, and then there I just do that, and then I can go right at the bottom and say return, go back to my app. I can copy that, use to do, go right at the bottom here and put that one like this, and then return this, and then go all the way to the end and say this is the thing I want to return, right? And this one I call it toggles to do. So what I'm going to do with it is call here toggles to do's like this, right? So apparently, so use effect is here, we need to bring it, and if we go all the way up, we see that use state is here, right? So let me do npx spread here like this, so it's just gonna quickly fix that now, right? So if I go back here, this is what we got. And now I need to go to app and say in app I need to say let's get the to do like this. So it brings it from, it imports it from there, but I don't like that, so I'm just gonna go inside the hook file folder here and just add an index.js. And then here just export from that file, and now I can go back to app like this. So this is good, the use is good, and now this value there, we're gonna get rid of this. On change, we're gonna get rid of that, and then right at the bottom we can then go here and call that toggle to do's, right? So technically application should be working again, right? I just move all that logic in one on one side, right? So this is already a good improvement, but application is broken, all right? It is broken because now when it doesn't have an idea of what is the it doesn't have an idea of what is the input. So if I go here and then I say hello world, and I enter, literally nothing is happening because, well, it is broken, right? So how do we fix that? So the first thing we're going to fix is how to add things in the list. So, and to add things in the list is this one, and if we go inside this one and we check the implementation, we see that it received the element there, and then it does all the logic behind the scene and so on and so forth. And then when you look at the code, you see that that part here serve as a way to create the to do, and then it's going to do some magic stuff here, add to dos and so on and so forth. Line 17 is actually a little bit weird, but we're going to fix it in a few minutes. So how do we do so? How do we handle that here? So what I'm going to do is to make sure that I have basically I'm gonna call the add to do, and the add to do function is going to receive the just the value, right? So that's instead of receiving the event here, which it's just gonna receive the value and then being able to call it that way. So what I'm going to do here is to create a function that I'm going to I'm going to call add to do handler. That function there, it's the function, I'm just doing it as, you can call that as a bridge that will handle the everything related to the everything related to the template, and then forward the logic to the hook, right? So what are you going to receive here? You receive an event. That's what we saw in here. We saw that it received an event right there. So here we don't need that. Here we're gonna receive the to do, that basically the text, if you want, that's gonna be passed here. We don't need this one, and then that text will be passed right here. Right, that's basically the to do, right? I can call it to do to make it much easier to grasp here, but it's gonna be that to do there, right? But it conflicts with this one, so let me call it text. Although we're not gonna need the line number 4, I think we're not gonna need line number 4. I'm gonna call it text right there, and then leave it like that, right? So that's already something. We go back to app, and now in app, what I want to do, I want to basically say I want to prevent default. So let's go back to use to do, and then yeah, it was, I removed that already. So prevent default, and then what's gonna happen there with after we prevent default, we just want to call add to do, and then pass something to it, some text, right? However, that text, what I'm gonna do here is to say, I'm gonna call that to do input ref, use ref, and give it a default value like this one. And now right here, what I'm gonna do is to do input ref dot current dot value. So that's what we going to have right here. And once we the to do, the behavior was like when you enter, it just erase whatever you type. So we just have to do input ref dot current dot value is equal nothing right there, right? Let me use this, right? So that's the one, and then which means that now here for that to do, I can use the had to do handler, and then right there is going to receive that thing with the event, and then prevent default. In that case, I don't really think that we need that prevent default, because we're not using a button of like a button that has like a submit that has a button and things like that. So it's not really that important. We're going to see that a little bit later. So let's keep moving. So if I did it well, go back to the use to do, it's going to come here, pass that information, and then add a new to do right here. So let's see, hello world, and then enter. Okay, so it's not, it is not working. So we probably have something that got broken there. So what do we have? So when it comes here, quick debugging session, we have the add to do, we're passing it here, and then we check that if it is different of this, we then do so. So what I'm going to do is just check that, okay, that I know it's being passed for sure. So what I'm having an issue with is this line right below, because it's looking for a to do. Oh, okay, I changed the to do. I said this line we don't need. I'm gonna make sure that we fix that, but what we need here is to check the text. But even with the text, you see, by putting to do here, that thing there is gone. So I can get rid of it. That we did in the previous line, right? And then that we add it here if there is a text. I don't like that, so let's remove that. We don't need that part. And what we need here is we add we create a new to do, and then we're gonna add that to do right there. That line 14, we're going to fix it. There's something wrong with it. Now, here I don't need that console log, because now I see where the problem was, and it should be able to add it right there. Let's see what we have. If we go back here and then say hello world and then enter, we see that now it's working. But what just happened there is it is working, but it added an empty thing, right? And then it didn't clean up that thing. So if I click again, right here, you see that it's being added, and then right below as well it's being added. So something is not working really well. So what are we doing wrong? So let's go back to app. In app, we're saying we prevent default, and then we pass the to do, and then but that is correct because we didn't link. So what that input is, that the input is here, so we didn't link. So let me go back here and then say ref is equal to do input ref, right? So that's what we have right there, and that's why it wasn't working, and then it wasn't removing anything from it. So if I go back here and then enter, I see now that the hello world is there. That thing is still working, and I can remove it safely from here, right? So this is already one thing. We have the add to do that is working again, and we can move on to something else, right? So what's next? We have the add to do working. Actually, everything else is working. Let's see. Add something here. Keep adding something here, and then we can remove that, we can remove that, and then so on and so forth, right? But there is something weird with that order. Look at it again. I'm just gonna say 1, 2, and you see where it went. 2 went, and then 3. You just keep on going, like it's adding them in a weird way, right? So I think the issue is on the it's over here. Let's go back over there on the used to do. So the issue is here. The thing is, when you do that concat right there, it's adding the things toward the end, and then it does a reverse there, right? So what I'm going to do is comment out this, put it back over here, and instead of doing this, we're going to remove literally everything, right? And then that to do item, if you want it to be all the way at the top, we just have to say to do item here, right? So you just add it right at the beginning, and then it should be able to work. So let me remove that, and then if we say now 1, so you see it goes all the way at the top. 2, you see 3, and now that's working really well, right? So that's basically that was a quick fix right there, right? So I'm gonna turn that into a tip. So don't forget to subscribe on Hackages Learning to access all these amazing tips that I put up there. So this part we can remove. By the way, there is something that you can still improve in that piece of code right there, right? And I'll show you that in a few minutes, but let's keep going. I want to make sure that I finish that refactor. Now we see that get all to do, toggle to do, the thing is working. Remove that, the thing is working. So I need to say separate component and state. Done. We know it's done. Now I can go here, and I'm gonna say feature separate a component and state, right? So if I go here, now I can basically add them, and then go here and say move created use to-dos, and move yeah, I can just leave it this way. It should be fine, right? So that's pretty good. We're making progress there. Now by the way, if you want to access the code, you know that you can go on you can go on the on our GitHub, because I forked the code, so you can just find GitHub GitHub refactoring coach, and then there you should be able to see the repository. They're public, and yeah, so good. Now I have just a few minutes still. So one of the things I want to do here is once we clean up apps, and it looks already much better like this. We have the things working right there. So I'm not gonna touch the component for now. I'm just gonna focus on these used to do right there. So what I want to do is to show you how you can use services. What I mean by services is, for example, moving the local storage to a service layer. What do I mean by that? I mean that here, if you look at that code, you see it says local storage, and then at the bottom is also say local storage right there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how you can use this idea of a service. A service, the job of a service is to isolate that business logic, that how you access different APIs and stuff like that, which will help you if you refactor to basically say, oh, my logic is isolated in one place, so I don't have to change everything just to make some changes. For example, one of the way you can think of it is this: you have an app. And then here, for example, is your UI. Here you're going to have access to things like hooks, and then over there you're going to have access to a service. So this one here is our service. This one here is hooks, and the way I think of hooks is basically the way where you have like data state management linked to the component, and then here you have, for example, your component, right? So the link is like this one takes information from there, and then this one use information from the service to make HTTP call and things like that. But you don't do that part, you don't do it. No, you just don't do that, right? So let's see in terms of code what I mean by that. Right here we have the hooks, and then if we look at our hook a little bit further, we see that local storage is there. So what I was about to do is to go in the source here and then add a folder called services, and in that thing I'm gonna call local storage .service.js, and what I'm going to do there is to create two functions. So the first one, export function, the first one is to get data, right? And when you write in the local storage, you pass a key, and what you want to do with that key is to make sure that you want to, through the key, you can just read the data. So how am I going to call it? I'm just gonna say we're just gonna return local storage, right? Dot get item. You pass the key, right? The key, and then whenever you're getting the data, you want to do JSON.parse, and then pass the you getting the thing. So if you're getting the thing, you don't do that, right? So what you do with this, you do JSON.parse, because the thing comes as a string, right? The way you save it as a string, and then the way you get it back, you parse it to get it as an object or whatever shape you put it in there, right? So in our case, it's an object that we're passing. It's an array with things inside. So the other one is going to be save data. And then here you pass the key, but you also pass the data that you want to save. And now what you're gonna do there is first stringify the data and then save it. So the way you do that, you basically say local storage dot set, And then when you set, you pass the key, and then you do a JSON dot stringify, and then you pass that payload, right? So that's basically your service. And by now you know that I'm just gonna quickly have an index.js that export from the local storage like this, right? Now I can go back to the used to do, and then here, instead of using this one, I'm just gonna use the save data, and then which data am I passing right there? So we want the to do, so that's the way it was called, and then we want to pass. Let me just go back. What did I have here? Oh, JSON. All to dos. I just have to pass the all to dos there. So what I need to do is save data, then pass to do, and then all to dos, basically. So that's already one thing. And then how about get? On the get part, same thing. I just want to go here and then say get data, and then I just need to pass the key here, which is a to do like this. And then just set all the data there. So if I did it well, it feels like I lost my data right there. So let's see what happened. If we look at the application, we see that it's an empty array, right? So I might have done something wrong there. So oh, all the data are gone. Oh, okay, I see. Okay, I see all the data are gone. So let's say hello, and then it adds here. So if I refresh that, I see indeed that it's still there. And if I do a hard refresh, it's still working. So yeah, we lost a little bit the task we had there, but yeah, we should be able to keep going that way, right? So our refactor actually did work. What I wanted to show you here is the fact that now we have something like called a service, and then in that service we have this thing you can reuse anywhere else, not only in that that hooks, but in any hooks you're gonna have in your project, right? This is pretty cool. And then you have yeah, you can just use it this way and things like that. So there are a few more things we can improve there, and I'm gonna yeah, hopefully stop on that one. So another thing, let me just quickly save that, save feature, and then I'm gonna say local storage service. I'm just gonna call it like that, and then add everything, and then we're just gonna quickly commit that, move local storage into its own service. Okay, really good. So that's already one thing, and the other thing is as I explained right before here, you have the component, the hooks, and the service, right? One of the things you want to do is to make sure that you keep them in a way separated and just import them from one point to the other, right? So what I'm going to do here is kind of applying the last layer. We just did that with the local storage, and the beauty with this is if tomorrow you're not using local storage anymore, you can simply go ahead and make changes here, or create another service that basically look like the one you want, and then send that data back to the hooks here, and it should be transparent for the hooks and the component. It should be completely transparent. If you even need to serialize the data, it's gonna be completely transparent for you, right? So I'm gonna do the same thing, for example, with this. Here, that thing takes care of creating the to-do, right? So what I'm going to do here is to create in the service here, I'm just gonna add a file that is just called to-do service. app.js, right? And then, for example, I'm gonna have a function that is called create a service, create to do. So that thing there is just gonna have a text, and then with that text, what we're going to do. So let me go back to the use to do, and then literally copy this, cut that, go to the to do service, put it here, and then just return that. I don't need any of that. I'm just gonna return this part, right? Return that, and the only thing we need here is the test, and then all of that is pretty okay. And then actually you're gonna be able to do the same thing with things like delete to do, right? Let's call it remove to do, right? You give it the ID, and then it should just work. So you give it the to do ID, and then just do the logic here to remove the to do, right? And same thing with toggle and so on and so forth. But I'm for the sake of the time, I'm just gonna do the create to do in this case, and then make sure that the app is still working that way. So what do we have now? Not that we have here, what we just need to do is to create to do. So let me go back to services, service.index, and then here I'm just going to import that, and then make sure that it is available here. Now I can go back to the use to do, and now here I can call that create create to do, right, which is here, and it just received the text, and that's gonna give me a to do item this way that I'm passing right there. So by doing this transformation, and now I have that create to do, and the way I'm creating to do, the hooks that doesn't need to know about all that logic, and it gives you a possibility to change stuff here without having to disrupt the way the hooks is working, right? And you can do the same thing with as I said, the toggle, same thing. You can move that to a toggle, and then just call it and do the same thing here. Do the same thing with the delete, for example, and so on and so forth, right? So I think I'm gonna stop here for now. The only thing I'm just going to do is just to make sure that my picture is good. Everything looks pretty okay. Yeah, that's kind of it for now. I say a bit 30 minutes, but it went a little bit over time. And yeah, on the channel on refactoring.coach, you're gonna have this a little bit detailed, and yeah, feel free to ask any question. Next week we have a beautiful live session that's coming again, but in the meantime, yeah, enjoy that app, and thank you the person who created that app. I see a broken behavior there, but I think I understand now why he was using in the app right there. He was using the same thing here. He put like a on Summit, something like that, that was there at the beginning. So let me just make sure that I commit this, and then I will show you what I meant. To do service, okay, let's add that, and then say here added the to-dos service like this. And now I'm quickly gonna go back to main, and I will show you what I meant by, let's go back to app, and right at the bottom there was this unsubmit there that was used at the beginning that I removed, and that basically break the thing. But you see where we came from. We went from this app with a lot of things right there, and then if I go back to feature to do service, you see where we landed with this. Okay, and now here with that form, I just have to put on submit, and then just pass the add to do handler in there, and I should be able to replicate the same behavior just by entering that like this. Right, that was basically the behavior that I believe I lost by doing so. And yeah, that's it. That's it for today. You take care. Enjoy your weekend. Don't forget to subscribe everywhere. Bye.